Rodriguez. I'm the Director of Marketing and Enrollments for the Bradman program. And Boy Tran over here, hiding. Well, not hiding, but blocked out a little bit. She's my account manager for the Bradman program. And has everybody got one of these already?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some more right here if you need. So it might have been mentioned in your orientation, the Los Angeles Jewish Home has a number of senior care lines of business. And that's one of the lovely things about the Los Angeles Jewish Home is that we're a senior care expert from all needs. So when you're out in the real world out there and you have senior care needs, they come in many, many pieces. Hospice care, palliative care, nursing home, assisted living, boarding care, and then of course all the health plan type of services like SCAN and others out there that focus more on senior care only versus a Kaiser that focuses on all ages, right? And so the Bradman program is a PACE model. PACE stands for Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly. And this PACE model has been around now for about 40 years. And it really is a coordination of care of many of the needs that seniors need as they get a little older and more frail. In the regular world out there, a senior will have generally their services siloed out. So they may have to take 5-7 trips a week, a month for their care. Why? Their eye services is one location, their dental is another location, their pharmacy is another location, their specialists, 3-4 specialists is another location, their primary care is somewhere in between. They may have some dietary needs, Meals on Wheels, food banks, so that's the life of a senior. Now imagine a senior that has challenges, that's frail, that's in a wheelchair, that's in a walker, that doesn't have family support. Where do they end up at? Anybody have an answer, an idea?
Come to the Semi Institute. In the ground at Northeast Spring.
Well, where they end up first is the ER. That's where they end up. Because again, all these siloed pieces, once they start missing, once they can't get their medications, once they have a little dementia, a little memory challenges, they can't take the medication properly. When you backtrack from a senior that's having multi-complications in the hospital that's admitted, multi-organ challenges, other things that are going on, when you backtrack it to the ER and before that, it was just a simple medication issue. And it just threw everything out of whack. Diabetes, hypertension, cardiac medication, Coumadin, something that just, if it was managed, they'd be fine. So the Bradman program and the PACE model is a nationwide program. There's 120 PACE organizations now from New York to California, and it specifically services the frail elderly. So a senior that's generally healthy, managing their care, driving, still active, is in the YMCA, things of that nature, they're not for the PACE program. The PACE program is for the frail elderly. So in order to join the PACE program, we do assessments of the senior. Anybody that's interested in joining the program, we will assess them to make sure that they at least have 2 chronic conditions that need managing and 2 activities of daily living that they need help with. If they don't need that help, then they're not ready for us. They can still survive in Kaiser and survive in another health plan because they can still get to many other appointments. Still may be a challenge, but they can still manage to go through all the silos of services that are out there. But that frail elderly doesn't have the time to make phone calls, to get to an adult day health care, to get to their physical therapy, to arrange access, transportation, call family. I mean, it's a challenge. And more of the millennials and their parents are having a reality check because they have to take care of who? The grandparents or the moms and dads that are frail. And once you're hit with the senior care needs, you don't know about senior care needs. So Jewish Homes and the Bradman PACE program, we field all those calls, of the general question. Have a senior, he was admitted to the hospital, and there's a lot that needs to go on after the discharge. I need help. And so then our expert team will ask the questions, about their medications, about their age, about their frailty, about their residency, about their overall support system outside of the discharge, to see if our program, the Bradman program, is a good fit, or if any of the other lines of business that the Jewish Home has would be the proper place for them. Whether it's housing, whether it's nursing home, whether it's PTOT, whether it's home health, whether it's our program. And I'll just finish up, I'll take a few questions and then we'll do the tour. The main purpose of this program and how it impacts the seniors is that because we have everything here, it's a one-stop shop. We have all the services I just mentioned, out of our program, and we coordinate all that. This helps the senior live independently in their home for much more years. Because if they don't have the home care, they could have a slip and fall and they're in the ER and then a nursing home and that's it, independence gone. Hip fractures, knee injuries, over medication, under medication. So all these things can happen and they're not going to live independently anymore. Family needs that support too. Their work, they got kids, how do they manage all this? So we do all that. So because we have the umbrella services, adult day health care, as I'll show you in a minute, all the services, we have all that, then the senior now, their quality of care goes up, their quality of life goes up, their independence stabilizes, and they can stay living in the community, in their apartment, in their home for a much long period of time versus being institutionalized. You had a question?
Just a question about the assessment. Is that done because it's a public funded program? Shouldn't the assessment be independent? If you assess the seniors, how does the state?
So the way this program differs from all the other health plans is that all the other health plans, you sign on the dotted line and you're in the plan, right? You sign for Kaiser. There's no pre-assessments to get into the health plans. With the PACE program across the nation, you have to have at least, again, 2 chronic conditions, generally, and 2 ADLs, so that we can document to the state, because the state has the ultimate approval of any member joining us. There's nurses up at the state, at the Department of Healthcare Services, that evaluate our assessments, document to them why this client will do better with PACE versus in the world they live right now, that it might not be the best scenario for them. So that's the model, and we're empowered with our with our RNs and with our social workers and with our team here to assess those needs and see that there's a shortfall, and if we don't intervene, the road that the senior's headed is not a good. And so we document that to the state, and then the state approves or doesn't approve. So I know we're a little bit short for time, so you have the brochures. Any other quick questions?
Yeah, if the elder's condition become more frail, like maybe like a respiratory device, so will you get rid out of the PACE program if they get so illness? That's
the beauty of the PACE program, that once they're in the program, they could be in the program to end of life, because as the name says, all-inclusive care. So we manage them from when they're at home with little assistance needed, but they still qualified for our program, to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, where they graduate to maybe a RCFE or a nursing home or anything else like that.
So even this need end-of-life care?
Yeah, they'll stay with us. Okay,